Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is me today when I was reading Proverbs 31. It has been a whole 31 days, no rest of Sunday, Saturday, it did not matter, and yet here we are. On the chapter that everyone talks about, the virtuous woman. Hi, I am Wanjiko Murigi, counseling psychologist based in Nairobi, Kenya. This month we have been talking about narcissistic partners and also in there toxic abusive, but more based in the book of Proverbs. And today we are on Proverbs 31 as we say goodbye to the month of March. However, it's not just a March thing, but this is something that you can go back to every so often. So the book of Proverbs, when I first heard of Proverbs 31, it was just about the woman, the wife, virtuous, the woman, Proverbs 31, woman is what we hear. But we barely consider what it says before. So this chapter is actually a mother talking to her son, King Lemuel. And what I noted is that here is a kingmaker, woman, mother, who's also warning her son from a king destroyer, or warning the son against king destroyers that are women and alcohol, which is wine or beer. But however, her words to the son are, they bring out a lot. This is from a woman who's wise. Of course, she's a mother. She's been there for some time. And she has been married to a king and now has a king for a son. And she's not in a haste to punish. She's not in a haste and telling him out of fear, but out of concern. And we have said it before, the concern of a parent. But she's also keen to say that a woman can be your downfall, but also can be your lifter. There are things inside there, and I keep saying, please, people, let's read these books for ourselves. And she talks about soberness. And when you just read it on face value, it sounds like it's just soberness by avoiding alcohol, by avoiding anything that will make you lose your mental state. But with a third eye, you notice it's not about what you drink, but it's also requesting, beseeching, hoping, praying for that as a man, you will be sober mentally, spiritually, financially, and even deep within your soul. Because also, she is advising King Lemuel that as a king, you're not supposed to be suppressing, oppressing people. You're supposed to be a voice for those ones who cannot speak up for themselves. And you can't do this when you're always consuming alcohol or you're always indulging with women here, left, right, and center. You need to be sober-minded. You need to be so sober that even when you're passing judgment, it's not judgment out of anger. It's not skewed judgment. It's not judgment from a place of someone who does not know. But it's judgment from a place of having focus, line, known, thought, and in here I also believed guided by wisdom. And as we've said, wisdom is from the Holy Spirit. And she's also warning that even if there's this virtuous woman that is there from verse 10, there's also another kind of woman that can really, really leave you in poverty. Let those ones who do not care, let those ones who just think about their problems and maybe feel they're at their end, let them be the ones to deal with the beer and the wine. But for you, son, you who's king, let's keep our eyes focused. And even when we are on there, not even so much about narcissistic, toxic, abusive partners, when you listen to this and what she's trying to bring out from the son, a king, go back to the previous chapters and see what they say about kings, all right? And now we will understand why men have a specific role in their families, in their society, with their children, and why they are supposed to be the image or the image bearer of God. Okay? Because a king is not just about the crown on your head, but it's what else you bring on the table. All right? So the king is also being told, be a voice for those ones who are weak. Be a voice for those ones who cannot speak for themselves. And being this is not only a call to the outside, but it's also a call in the inside of your home, in the inside of your children's house, your household, and your children within your household and without your household. So enough about King Lemuel, the mother, and other women. So even we are called to be like her and call out the kings in our sons, in our husbands, in men around us. However, from chapter 10, when we are talking about the virtuous woman, she is a woman who's of noble character. She is a woman who is very well known. She is a woman who surpasses expectations of society. But how comes this woman is talked about so much? Have you noticed something about her? The husband is not only pleased with her, but is well known at the city gates. He can sit with other men. So then, what kind of a man is this one? It's a man who's not threatened by the success of a woman who knows herself, of a woman who can go out and be confident to buy a field. When you, hey, those are too many. Those are two thoughts in one. So it just rolled out in a very blah, blah, blah way. Women, let me say we, have quite a gift, as the society calls it, is a sixth sense. You can tell when something will happen, either good or bad. And for those ones who are very spiritual, they get very in tune with the Holy Spirit. Those ones who aren't, just being smart, also get things right. However, with less the advantage of having supernatural guidance, having the Holy Spirit, God, Jesus guiding you. So when you listen to men, when men speak, there are men who will not shy away from saying that behind every successful man, there's a woman, because of that gift that is it's just bestowed on a woman. You suppress a woman and you miss out on the many blessings that can come with you. And this woman does not have to be educated. She doesn't have to be well-traveled. She just has to be a woman who knows herself, or a woman who's given the opportunity to be a virtuous woman, a woman of noble character. But mark you, if this woman, or if the woman you have married, woman you are with, is toxic, abusive, narcissistic, then there's no Nobel prizes that you're going to be winning. No, it's something that will require redeeming. But there are those women who just come with this thing, and with a leader, a priest, a head of the home, who will give her the place of being wife, the place of being mother, the place of being a helper, then the family is going to completely thrive. And you shall see how this noble character is not only going to benefit her, but you as the man, as the head of the home. Because also in this chapter, you're told there are few things that you're told about the husband. That her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among elders of the land, because they can see what is happening in his house. Her children raise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her, not putting her down because she's trying to do things beyond. And it's not about a woman being hard-headed, strong-headed, not submissive. It's not all those terms that we are being told. But it's the man having confidence in his choice of wife that he has married. Then this also means that if you yourself as a man, not me Wanjiku, but if you yourself as a man have picked someone that threatens you, and I don't mean just them being toxic, abusive, narcissistic, no, just naturally a woman who you feel you need or have to always suppress, then I think you need to check yourself. Then I think there's something very amiss with you in terms of your soberness, character, wisdom, and everything else that comes with it. Because if Solomon will talk about a noble woman, and here we are today in this life, in those days there wasn't a degree education class 1 to all the way to 8 from 4. No, there wasn't that. But this is someone who's working with their hands, and they have faith, and the husband has confidence in them, then they're able to move. So also meaning, this has just come now, also meaning that if as a husband you're threatened by your wife's progress and you keep suppressing her, then doesn't it only mean that there's nowhere you will go? You can only move so far. So we see an example. If you are supposed to own 10 acres of land, you won't own that. You might just end up having 5 or 2.5 acres, or even less than that. Even if you're a millionaire, maybe if you just gave her the opportunity, you would not be a millionaire, but a billionaire. And not with fear, but with capacity to keep building and rebuilding and having dominion and moving forward. Also, there's something that we learn about this woman. This woman is not a threat to her husband, because also, say what? Slip of the tongue. Because also, she does not have pride. She does not rub it in the husband's face of how well she's able to organize herself. She doesn't complain that she has to work so much. And also something else, she is not mean to the help that is around her. Not to the husband, not to the children, and not to her servants. Men servants, female servants, she isn't. We see that she's considerate and she's able to plan herself, not by taking advantage of other people, but with the work of her hands. She's able to go out there and make deals, even with other men, but not making deals that are going to burn her. And when I say making deals with other men, because she's not also getting into funny behaviors or characters, but she's doing what has taken her there. Then this is why I keep saying, the thing about toxicity, abuse, and narcissism, it's not just about one person. It's about two, a man and a woman. The woman can be the one who's very toxic. The man can also be. So even when you look at Proverbs 31, and when you're screaming about the noble woman, the noble wife of noble character, the virtuous woman, when we are going out to say women are supposed to be liberated and have there's also a call for us not to take advantage of our place and our position. Because also we are finding women who are really thriving, But instead of coming back home to build, they're coming back to destroy and to destroy their partners. All right? I am feeling like I have said too much. So it is also encouraging us to be strong women with strong men without threatening any partner based on wherever it is that you are. And based on these proverbs, if the two really work together, then there is no mountain they cannot climb. There is no battle that they cannot conquer. There is no lengths that they cannot go to. And there is nowhere they cannot be known or successful in their lives. And you see, it's not only about the woman, it's not only about the man, but also their children enjoy this success that they have. What I wanted to say is they enjoy in the thriving of the father and the mother, and a lot more from the mother. So husbands, if you're being threatened by your strong women, educated or not educated, please sit down and listen. If woman, you're feeling a certain way because you have thrived, please calm down. Because we can't succeed by stepping on other people's toes, man or woman. I'm not saying that we are equal. We cannot be equal because a woman has strengths that can never match a man, and a man has strengths that can never match a woman. But together, as husband and wife, you complement to ensure that you conquer anything on this earth. So that has been our month. Let us say yay to the 31st of March and Proverbs. It's been such a pleasure doing this. I don't know what is going to be next. But what I will say is, first, if you're in a narcissistic, toxic, abusive relationship, marriage, kindly, I beg of you, seek help. As I have said over and over again, and it's been repeated in today's topic, it's not only women who are being abused, but it's also men being abused by women. Narcissism does not peak. It can be in both men and women. Abuse can be on men and it can also be on women. Whichever kind of abuse, financial, physical, emotional, spiritual, sexual, on any gender. So as we are coming to the end, it's for me to hope that you have learned and kindly seek help. Seek help from a qualified therapist. You can go online, you will find people, but ensure that they are legit. You can DM me. If you feel that it's someone that you know who's going through these things, you may be just suspecting, but forward them even these videos, forward them these messages. Let this go far and wide so that we can restore back life. Because if you come from a narcissistic family and your parents have decided to stick it through, most probably because of nature, you also tend up to be narcissistic. And then your children, or you become the other extreme of overcompensating. And instead of helping your children, what you are doing is destroying them, you thinking that you are avoiding what your parents passed down to you. All right? The other thing is that for any relationship, and I say this with a lot of care, it's something, and it's costly. But I know people say there's no Mr. Right, Mr. Wrong. But what I know that there is that marriage is God ordained. And because God is all knowing, He knows you, He knows me, He knows who is going to be suitable for you. Because as human beings, we have a weakness of only seeing the physical. But God knows the internal. Don't be in a rush to say I do. Don't be in a rush to be intimate with anyone. because also intimacy makes us blind to judgment, right? When you see red flags, quit trying to make them green, brown, maroon, or any other color apart from red. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Because also, for you to be able to cast out any kind of demon from someone, they also have to be in a place that even they want to be set free. So if you marry someone who's abusive, toxic, narcissistic, and you think that you have the power to pray those things out of them, it might be, and I say it very carefully, might be a fail, because if they know and have decided this is the path they want to follow, ladies and gentlemen, there's only so much that you can do. If someone is threatened by a woman from their mother, because even King Lemuel was listening to the mother, this is why he's able to become even more. And King Lemuel is also Solomon, right? This is why he's able to become more. But he also slipped at some point in his life by having so many women, that at the end of the day, it was a fail for him. Also, with that, do not assume that you can walk alone in this journey. But, however, it's not everyone that will walk with you honestly in this journey. This is why you need wisdom and wise people to walk with you before you say I do, when you say I do, and even along that whole path, and even when you need to say I do not, if ever there's a need. But what I believe is that if it is truly, truly you have put God there, and he's the one who's joined the two of you, and not joining in terms of just you saying I do, the other person I do. No. Like from the beginning of it, like truly, truly, you have prayed and the other person also have prayed, and you know that you're compatible, not only because of your thoughts, but because even the heavens have said it, because even there is communication from above. It may, and especially for people who may not be Christian, it may sound very spooky when I say God will speak to you. Yeah, God does speak. The Holy Spirit is going to guide you. And you don't want to get into a situation where you thought you saw, or you were not certain that this is what you wanted, only you to get in and start regretting and saying you wish you knew. You'd rather take time to jump in, and like jumping in so fast because you feel it is time, and then you're left with consequences after, or you don't come out alive. It's really, really bad. Or you're so happy jumping in, only it to be the beginning of your end. And marriage does work. However, there are people who don't know how to make it work. And this is a commitment for two. Because as we've seen even about the noble wife, she's not just doing this by herself, but she has the husband who's guiding her on, who's there with her, who's also benefiting, and she's also benefiting from him. Because when they say that he sits amongst elders, you're not just sitting there. It means then also he has decisions that he makes. Him being there has an advantage for the wife, for the family. But if someone will not step in for you, or you also can't step in for them, then maybe take a step back and reanalyze before saying I do. It's not a lecture. It's just a word of caution, because sometimes in life you find that nobody tells you some of these things, and only you get in and you're like, you actually wish someone spoke to you, or someone was just honest with you. And I've said intimacy before marriage is dangerous. I know people want to test and see and know before you say I do, but that thing blinds you. That thing is gonna lock you so hard because you're not able to reason in any other way. That's the deepest, that's the one thing that makes, do I say that makes your souls tie? But also there's such a deep level of exchange that sometimes becomes such a hard untangle to untangle. It's such a tangle to untangle it. So instead of getting to that place, give yourself time, because even what you're running to do in this marriage, you will do it as my late mother used to tell us. And this is not for children. You will have so much sex in marriage that you will get tired. So let it not be your driving force to marriage, to make intimacy legal. No, no. Let it be that you can build a future with someone. Because also the people who you think you're ideal, but, and I've said this before, there are those signs that you can just tell this person isn't. But because of the desire, maybe your friends are getting married, maybe you've had marriages like this, maybe you had expectations, maybe you have also come from an abusive home and all you want is to fit in, and you found someone that you think, quote unquote, is the one. You get in without the third mind, without making it as a conscious decision, but more of an emotional one. And then you get in only for you to realize, oh my God, you just want out. And it can be so suffocating. It can be so draining. And actually, I wish we can have women, or even men, both women and men, who can come and talk about them being warned, them seeing the mistakes before saying I do, and getting in, and the wrath that you go through, or what happens in the process, and are you still in there? Is it working? Or do you need to jump out? The consequences of also having to jump out. What you can tell us younger women, or you can tell your younger self before, it will be very, very helpful. So if there's anyone who's gonna listen and is in that category, kindly reach out. You can DM me, or you can email me, and then we see or have a follow-up of this. That has been a good month. Let me hear your comments. Let me hear your thoughts. What you agree with, what you do not agree with is also very important. And we shall see you in the next series of Let Us Wait and See what is going to be next for us. It's been amazing. I have appreciated your support. Keep listening, keep following. Also tell me what other topics you'd want me to deal with. That was good. Thank you guys so much, and ciao.